podcast and Best Bets live stream. It is Thursday morning. Whew, Jeffrey, it was not a good night last night. We got this.
It wasn't a good conclusion to the night. I started off well with a little JMU action, but after that, it seemingly was all downhill. Louisville couldn't cover. Boise State loses to Colorado State. We'll talk about some of these. But first, Robert, the number one takeaway from last night for you was what?
Oh, man, that's Seton Hall can't hold a lead at home.
Yeah, well, or that you don't want to give Mitch Ballock any space.
Wow, he was unbelievable. I think, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think he is officially out of his slump.
I think he is too. And I think the other thing is, to me, if I'm Greg McDermott and their staff, I'm saying there's no game that's going to go by for the rest of the season that you're going to attempt less than 5 3-pointers. Not one. Not one. I don't care. If you miss all 5, that's fine. We'll live with it. But that dude, when he gets going, and the thing that he did last night, I thought, because everybody's on him and they don't pay attention to him when he's not out there at the 3-point line, he can get easy baskets around the rim if he just moves to the basket.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing he does well, is he does move without the ball.
They got to get him the ball. I think Zagorowski looked healthier last night than I've seen him look probably all year. Moving better, hit a huge 3 at the end of the game. But yeah, was it more of an indication of that you don't trust Seton Hall, or that Creighton can just come back against anybody because that's what their offense dictates?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just they shoot the ball so well. They shot 17 for 35 from 3.
Yeah.
17 for 30. If you're going to hit 17 threes against anybody on the planet, you're going to have a in that game.
Right. And they were awful defensively in the first half.
Yeah, the big thing with Seton Hall, and this really stuck out to me last night, especially with some of the possessions down the stretch, they just don't have their guard play is just not what it needs to be. Bryce
Aiken isn't what he was at Harvard. He had a great first half last night, but he's not a guy you can just give the ball to and say, hey, take care of it. Take care of it. Go make a play. Don't turn it over. You saw it at the end of the game. His confidence still isn't there from a standpoint of running a team. It's there scoring the ball, and that's kind of what he was at Harvard. He was more of a ball-scoring guard, but he's not necessarily really a facilitator. He's a scorer.
Yeah, it's Seton Hall's good, but the pieces just don't necessarily fit the way that you would want them to fit perfectly. Like, again, they don't have a go-to guy. Down the stretch, Creighton knows what they're going to do. They're going to put the ball in Zagorowski's hands.
Yep.
They're going to let him work, and then he's going to find somebody or he's going to make a shot himself. And Seton Hall doesn't really have that guy. You know, you want it to be man.
Like Creighton's.
It's very difficult to make like a big guy play that role, you know? So it kind of is what it is.
You know me. I like Creighton. I like this team. I've stuck with them all year, and I'm going to stick with them. Now, their defense has to be better come NCAA tournament time. But ultimately, I just think they have weapons at every position offensively. Every guy can shoot it. Every guy can score. I think Kalkbrenner is going to get better and better here. And he showed it last night at times. He is a factor. He's something they didn't have last year. You don't have to use him all the time. But if you go up against a team where you need some length, some rim protection, you have it now. You did not have it a year ago.
So Florida State won by 22 over Miami. Ohio State won by 4 at home against Penn State. E.J. Liddell had another 20-point game.
Yeah.
Man, Baylor won by roughly 867 points. I can't do the math. I'm not good enough at math to figure
48 points. Exactly. 48 points.
Baylor won by, was it 48? You sure 48. About that? You positive?
My math is phenomenal.
It is. Wisconsin beat Maryland at home by 6, and Louisville went into Clemson, South Carolina, and lost while putting up 50 points.
Yeah. You know what my takeaway was?
By the way, can I tell you what happened to me watching that game?
The Louisville game?
Yeah, I had to watch it in Spanish.
Why?
I don't get the ACC network or massive. So I had to go find an illegal stream, and I found an illegal stream, and the only one they had was like the Spanish language version of it or whatever. So I had to watch that game in Spanish.
So how do you say in Spanish, Louisville can't score worth a shit?
Louisville está jugando como mierda.
Very good. Very good.
You know what that means?
No.
Louisville is playing like shit.
Yeah, they certainly did.
I don't know how to say it.
Listen, we'll get onto that one in a second. But first, can I tell you?
This is all we got to say about Louisville, right? They have the two best ball screen guards, like the best combination of ball screen guards, maybe in college basketball. Well, maybe not, but like outside of Baylor and Gonzaga.
Right. I was going to say, let's not push it. They're good. They're very good.
The best combination of ball screen guards in the country. There's no shooting around them to be able to create space, and there's nobody to roll to the basket for them to find them. So it's like they're coming off of these ball screens, and they look, and there's all this help defense in the lane, no shooters to give the ball to, and they're just fucked if they don't have any space.
Yeah, they need Malik Williams in a bad way.
Williams, they need Samuel Williamson to start making shots.
Well, that too. No, they need shot makers, but they could use a big that can roll to the basket at least and give them an option there.
Until they get shot makers, like what good is it going to do? There's 9 people in the lane. You got Malik Williams rolling to the basket. You know, it's like playing pinball when he's going through. He's bouncing off.
Hey, maybe they could have held Clemson to 48 points instead of 50.
Hey, look,
54.
You held Clemson to 48 points last night. You would have won that basketball game.
That's right. But yes, you can't get a combined 13 points out of David Johnson and Carlik Jones. That or 15 points, whatever it was.
I know. So let's go to Baylor. I know you had some thoughts on them. So let's bring that up.
I do. Listen, I think, Rob, and I know this might be a hot take, but it shouldn't be. I think now after Baylor has beaten the hell out of everybody in a Big 12 that is pretty darn good, and they just beat a Big 12 team. I know it's not a good one, but they beat a Big 12 team by 48 points. It is time, Rob Dauster, to put Baylor in the exact same sentence conversation as the Gonzaga Bulldogs. We have had Gonzaga at 1, Baylor at 2 all year long. Now is the time that you got to put them together. Gonzaga and Baylor, period, are the 2 front runners for the national title. And here's why I think Baylor – I don't think it's been talked about enough. I think Baylor is on such a mission after last season, having the NCAA tournament scrapped. Pretty much this whole team came back for the most part, and they've all got that taste in their mouths. They came back. Their chemistry is elite level. You could see it. I mean, they're all playing for each other. They don't care who scores. Last night it was everybody. But it was Davion Mitch. I mean, it was 20-2. It was 38-5. It was 44-9, and the final was 107-59. I mean, it was a complete thrashing from start to finish. This Baylor team has everything, Rob. What they have that Gonzaga doesn't, they've got an elite defense.
Yeah, I mean, so I agree with you, but I've thought that we've had Baylor and Gonzaga basically in the same conversation all season.
No. I don't think anybody has. You have not. You have not given them the same credibility that you have given the boys in Spokane. You haven't.
Okay, so how do you define giving Baylor the credibility? Literally everybody in this that covers the sport of college basketball has said that Baylor and Gonzaga are in a tier all their own. A lot of people have said it's probably Gonzaga 1 and Baylor 1A.
Everybody said it's Gonzaga 1. Everybody has said it's Gonzaga 1, and then
I still think that it probably is Gonzaga 1 because if you look at the high end of the talent that they have, right? Who's the first player that you're picking, right?
I might pick Jared Butler. I might pick Jared Butler first.
You would take Jared Butler playing at his best over Jalen Suggs playing at his best. I don't think that you would because you're talking about Jalen Suggs being the number 1 pick. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is recency bias. Either way, I get what you're saying. I think that Gonzaga has a higher ceiling than what Baylor does. I think that they are good enough where when they are playing their best, their guards can win even against the defensive monsters that you have on Baylor. Now, that said, I would put this at like a 1 point, like call Gonzaga a 1 point favorite on the neutral court. So I'm not saying that they're way better than Baylor. And I'm saying that both of these teams on the neutral court are going to be like 7 to 8 point favorites over anybody in the country. So like that, and I felt that way since I don't know, for a while, right? Like
I'm just going to give you the numbers to support my argument. That's all I'm going to do.
We're not arguing. I'm telling you that you are saying that people are viewing this as something that it's not because everybody's had Baylor and Gonzaga as 1 and 1A for like months.
But 1 and 1A would be if I looked it up right now, and Gonzaga is plus 275 right now on the book I'm looking at to win it all. If it was 1 and 1A. it would be Gonzaga at plus 275 and Baylor at like plus 325. Agreed? Well, it's Baylor at plus 450. That's a gap. It is.
It's a small gap, but if you're saying that there's value on Baylor as the champion, then yes, you're probably right. At plus 450, there's value on Baylor as a national champion. I think all the value has been bet out of Gonzaga, and honestly, like plus 275, that's way, way, way too low in an era where it's like one positive test for like right. on.
Agreed. This year, yes, you're not taking that. You're not taking that.
What is the insane number right now?
Agreed. I totally agree.
The other part of it, the problem with going strictly based off of Vegas futures is that for a while everybody started pouring money on Gonzaga, so the books had to drop the line to the point where no one's putting money on it anymore because they're overextended on it.
They are. Listen, again,
for other people to balance it out.
I'm not hammering Gonzaga here at all. I'm just saying I think it is time that we give Baylor the respect that the Bears deserve, Rob Dauster, and you just continuously disrespect them.
You're saying what everybody else has been saying for the last 2 months. So
is not true.
Congratulations on figuring out that Baylor's actually good. Can I get a round of applause?
All right, I want you to say it before we finish this segment. I would like you to say, Baylor. I put Baylor at exactly the same spot that I value Gonzaga.
I don't. I just told you I think Gonzaga is, if they play it on a neutral court, Gonzaga at 1 point.
I proved my point. I proved my point today.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
Okay. I did.
A 1 point favorite means they're in the same conversation. You're acting like everybody thinks that if Gonzaga played Baylor tomorrow, if that game actually happened, that everyone would be saying that Gonzaga is like a 5 point favorite. That's not
they'd be a 3 point favorite.
Maybe by the time that it all comes out, but like even if you look at like KenPom, I think it would be the KenPom basically has them at the same number. You hate KenPom, so all you're doing.
I love Kenny Pom. I quote Kenny Pom now in my column.
As a matter of fact, do you know who KenPom has as the number 1 team in the country right now?
Baylor.
Yes.
Yeah. So KenPom's smarter than you. He's smarter than you.
I'm on to you. No, you saw this on KenPom this morning.
No, I'm looking right now as we speak.
Stand.
Kenny Pom. Look at this. My man.
I do not believe it. We figured it out, guys. All right, there's the answer.
That's right. I'm a closet KenPom guy.
Closet KenPom stand. There you go. You know what it was? You know what got you there?
What?
About KenPom's thrill scores. That's what got you there.
Yeah, speaking of which.
All right, let's talk about tonight's slate.
All right.
Before you have any more horrible Baylor takes.
Tonight's slate is not great. It's not great.
You have to hammer Rutgers, right? You have to clear the bankroll on Rutgers, laying 2.5 at home against a Michigan State team that's been
20 days. Right.
And honestly,
played in 20 days.
They had a basketball team. That's how long it's been since they played.
It's unbelievable. Like I feel like other teams have had longer breaks, but I feel like Michigan State feels the longest of anyone on the planet this season. Like St. Louis didn't play for like over a month, and they played the other night, and they lost by like 10 to a crappy Dayton team. Right. So, now again, not every time it's worked. Like look at Drake, right? Drake comes off a pause, and they sweep Missouri State. That's a huge, honestly, that's a very underrated occurrence over the last couple of days. I think, listen, Rutgers at the rack. I know they haven't been great this year at the rack, not like they have been in the past. All the numbers say you go Michigan State here. I mean, they're 11-0 all time against Rutgers, 10-0 since Rutgers joined the Big Ten. It's been a complete domination. Aaron Henry was playing much better before they took their pause. He had kind of finally stepped forward to kind of what everybody wanted from Aaron Henry, was to be more of an alpha dog. They're a good team, not great. They started getting better point guard play out of their freshmen, but I'm with you. Listen, Rutgers coming off the win against Indiana, having some confidence after they had gone through a tough stretch. Geo Baker playing well, Ron Harper, who will have a big if you want some Ron Harper stuff, you'll get it today. John Fannin and Demetrius Nichols did a podcast with Ron Harper Jr., and it was really good. So take a look at that later today. I'm with you. I'll take Rutgers here. I don't feel like phenomenal about it, but given 3, I'll take Rutgers.
The play is they're at home. They're coming off of a win. Maybe they kind of figured this thing out a little bit, and they're going up against a team that hasn't played in 20 days. And even when they were playing, they were a mess at the end. People forget they scored the last game they played was at home against Purdue. They scored 54 points, and they blew a 17-point lead in the second half.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
I like Rutgers a lot in this spot. The other game that I like is SMU.
Yeah, well, that's our usual. That's our usual there.
At home against Memphis.
Yep.
We've been on Memphis for 3 games in a row now. We've bet on Memphis 3 games in a row. They went on a 3-game winning streak.
That's enough.
How about this? You want to know why they went on a 3-game winning streak? It's not really that hard to figure out. I even think you could do the math on this. Okay.
Go ahead.
In those 3 games,
they
shot 32 for 64 from 3. Jeffrey.
Yeah.
That is a cool 50% from the out.
No, they look good. They look good. I mean, it was big for Memphis. This is the first time, too. If they win tonight, it'll be the first time they've won 4 straight in league play since 2017-18, Robert.
Oof,
how about that?
That is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Hold on, was that Tubby's first year, or does that go all the way back to the Josh Pastner era?
No, I don't even know if that was Tubby's first. Yeah, no, not his first year. What did it? Because Penny's been there.
What year is it right now? That's the first thing.
Oh, what day is it?
You can tell me that it's like Friday in 2023, and I probably believe it at this point. Every single day has been the same for the last 10 months.
Yeah, well, I got to look at your mug every day. I mean, Christ's sakes.
But speaking of mugs, that's a good look.
Yes, I see that mug. Kendrick Davis is going to be the key in this game. If Memphis holds him down again like they did the other night, they will get their 4th straight win in conference play for the first time, and that would be 4 years.
So they also switched up their starting lineup, which is interesting. Like they have a lot of the Memphis guys coming off the bench. Boogie Ellis is coming off the bench. Damian Baugh is coming off the bench. TJ Jeffries is coming off the bench, and I think that's kind of helped them a little bit. And it's really impressive to me that Penny's been able to get some of the bigger names and some of the local guys.
Yeah.
To kind of accept playing a role off the bench.
Especially Boogie. Well, Boogie is the one that surprises me. But yeah, I mean, if they can keep this going, at least it gives them some momentum.
Here's my thing. My big thing with them is just they've shot
so well.
They've shot 50% through the last 3 games, and they don't have a lot of great shooters on that roster. So
they do not.
I think that the regression monster is going to hit pretty hard tonight. There's one thing that SMU does really well, and that is hold opposing 3-point shooters to a 28.6% shooting clip. So, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong numbers. That's a lie. The opponents shoot 34% from 3 against SMU. So that's a dumb stat. Never mind. Forget what I just said. But I'm still on Memphis. Or I'm sorry, I'm still on SMU. I already put that bet in. Is there anything else you like? Because it's a very boring slate, and I feel like all the
it's. I mean, I kind of like Gonzaga just because, again, I don't think San Diego is very good. The only thing that can get in the way, I think, of Gonzaga losing is if, I don't know, they went surfing or something before the game in San Diego.
28 points is so many points in a game where, that. Do you remember what happened when they played BYU?
I know it's like a guessing game when you give that many. I know. I don't love it, but I kind of like it just because, again, my theory that Mark Few plays his starters too many minutes in blowouts. Mm-hmm. That's why I like it more than most teams that give that type of action. I don't know. I like Eastern Illinois against UT Martin. You know, you think about it from the beginning of the year, UT Martin loses obviously their coach. Rest in peace, Anthony Stewart. They lose their best player, Parker Stewart, who transfers to Indiana. They just had one of their top freshmen transfer recently. I think Eastern Illinois is pretty good. So Jay Spoonhour and the Panthers, I want to say Panthers. I don't know if I got that right. Are given 7.5 against UT Martin on the road. I'll take them there. And
I got a big one for you, Jeffrey.
What do you got?
Your Austin P. Governors.
I know.
5.5 tonight against Belmont.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take the points. I'm going to have to, at some point, we got to let's go pee. Like it's got to work. At some point, this thing has to work.
There it is. There's the ding. I think the ding signifies who we need to fade, right? We should have been tracking this all year long. Who are we talking about when the ding goes off? And does that mean that we should be betting or not betting that team? We should have been tracking that.
Yes.
So my thing with that is Belmont is one of the best offensive teams in the country. They're top 10 nationally in field goal percentage. They're number 2 nationally in 2-point field goal percentage. And the one thing that Austin Peay cannot do is defend. You would think that somebody from the Frank Martin coaching tree would be able to coach up defense. Matt Figure's not been able to coach up defense. So I would probably be on Belmont in this spot. And I also, if you can get like a team total, I don't know if it's even possible to get a team total on a Belmont-Austin Peay game. I would probably take the over on the Belmont team total, assuming it's like somewhere in that 70. Let me do the math.
The question for me is how healthy is Jordan Adams? Because he was, you were ripping on me when they were losing early in the year, but he's been banged up all year and playing.
Now you're coming up with some excuses.
No, there's no excuse.
Who's banged up on Arizona State? Who's banged up on that team?
I don't know. Whoever's doing it.
Are we fading them?
I'm not touching Arizona State. I'm done.
8 points.
I'm done. I'm done.
Who's back? You know who's back for Cal?
Matt Bradley.
Matt Bradley's back for Cal.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted to take Cal on the points, but the moment I do it, we know what's going to happen.
Mark Fox.
I mean, if I'm you, I want me to take Arizona State, and then if I'm you, I load up on Cal.
That's a good point. You know what? It's unbelievable that Arizona State is only laying 8 points at home against the worst team in the conference. Look at all that talent on the roster, Jeff. How are you not on Arizona? You spent the last 2 months every day that Arizona State plays. You've been telling me how good they are, how much of a favorite they are.
I know. Listen, I'm with you. By the way,
this is
not disrespect Cal.
Boys. Huh? I said this is a great bounce back spot for you boys. They just got their ass kicked, right? By their rivals.
I'm not giving 7. I'm
not.
But you're disrespecting Mark Fox and Cal by calling them the worst team in the league.
Well, I mean, of course I am, because I'm trying to get you to buy into the idea of betting on Arizona State. Like, what? I'm going to bet on Cal. I'm trying to get you to fade me.
They're not. Washington is the worst team in the league. So what do you like? Stanford, Arizona. Stanford still without Zaire Williams, Bryce Wills, and Dejon Davis. All 3 are not playing in this game. Arizona's favored by 8. I want to like Arizona.
It's 8.5 now, and I'm going to let that line keep climbing, and then I'm going to bet on Stanford.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, here's the thing too. Stanford just found out yesterday that they're actually going to go back to home here in a week or so. They've been on the road for all but 5 days this year. How about that? 5 days they've been in their dorms all season long. They have been they were in Carolina for a while in a hotel. Then they flew out to LA for a while, for a week. And then they've been in Santa Cruz in a hotel. And the first hotel was not a good one, Rob. First hotel was an absolute dump. And they got out of there. They're in a decent hotel in Santa Cruz. But they were just told the other day that they're going back home to Palo Alto because of the restrictions have been lifted on their county. So I don't know. I mean, again, I think Oscar Da Silva is probably the best player on the floor in that game. I just don't know if he's going to have enough help.
Yeah, and is the Mathurin kid playing? I think he's out, right?
I think he's out with an ankle injury. So they're without, really, think about it, they're without him, and they're without their best shooter in Jamal Baker, who's out for the season. So It's not like Arizona's completely whole either. I mean, they're undermanned and they're young. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I like Stanford to keep it close and not get blown out at least. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on that line too, because I think you're right. It probably goes to 9, and I like it there.
All right, for our picks, this is what I got. You ready?
Yeah, we're probably going to be together on a few of these, so maybe we finally win.
And for people that are here, like, we've been asked to be able to put up a graphic for this. That will happen eventually. We basically I basically produce this as I'm talking, so we don't have the capability to put up a graphic.
And we change our.
There's the thing. And the other part, so that's why we are partnered with BetSperts, is to give you a place where you can go to see everything that we're putting in. So download the BetSperts app. Just go follow us there if you want to see what we're putting in. So this is what I got today. I'm following you on Eastern Illinois. I'm fading you on Austin.
What are you doing? You're going Eastern Illinois?
Yep.
Okay.
I took Eastern Illinois.
Yep.
I took Belmont. I'm fading you with your whole Austin P obsession.
Okay.
I'm on Stanford. I'm going to try to wait until it gets to 9, but I'll be on Stanford. I'm on Cal. I took SMU laying 3.5, and I put 3 units on Rutgers -2.5.
Damn, look at you!
I got to get back at some point, man. I got to find a way to get hot. Best way to get hot is just keep piling money on Rutgers.
So I'm with you on Eastern Illinois. I'm with you on Stanford. I'm gonna wait a moment. I'm with you on SMU. I'm with you on Rutgers, and I got Austin P. And we need something like I really feel like it would change everything if we had a Let's Go P shirt. So like home field apparel, we need that. We need that soon, because otherwise, like Matt Figure and the Govs, they may not win another game.